All right. Anyway, oh. Anyway, whatever. I look like what I look like, don't I? Anyways, good morning, YouTube. Thank you for tuning into a new day 365. My name is Jim, and I am a recovering crystal meth addict, among other things. Anyways, it is September 12th, and I guess I'm 27 days sober today, right? Since my last relapse. And then again, once again, I had almost a year and a half prior to that relapse, year and a half clean. So now I'm at 27 days again. The difference being this time is that I'm not smoking weed. And it's not always by choice, because like it's just one of the requirements of living in a sober house, right? I gotta be sober, and I gotta be able to piss clean. So it's not that hard of a rule to follow, but I'm just fucking angry. I'm so mad all the time, and a nice friggin' bong hit would take that away in a second. But a bong hit would also just then I'd be chasing it, right? Then I'd have to chase that all day long, and all my money would go to weed, and I'd be smoking a quarter bag of weed every couple days, and I don't know. I'm happy to be where I'm at. And it's still early recovery. So maybe with some more time, maybe this anger will eventually fade. I'm aware of it. I'm aware of the anger, and I'm trying to work on it. So I'm hoping. That's tough. Also, I give up nicotine and tobacco too, right? I haven't smoked like a cigarette. I haven't smoked cigarettes like that in more than a year. I used to put a little bit of tobacco in each bong hit. I'd put the tobacco in first, and I'd put the weed on top, and so I would still get a nicotine hit, a few times a day. It would only amount to maybe a cigarette or two in a day, an entire day, but I was getting that nicotine, right? But I've cut that out. I have had one or two cigarettes since I've been here. Like, I had one, I think, the very first night I was here, and I had one last week when, when the cops were here, and they arrested that dude for smashing our window with a shovel. But I don't have the vices, right? Another thing is I still drink caffeine, and caffeine fucking gets me bouncing, I think. It's a drug, period. Caffeine, believe it or not, it's a fucking drug. It's the most widely accepted and the most widely used drug in the world. It's used by almost everyone, so it's acceptable, right? But the effects on the body are quite profound, I would say. It is a stimulant. That means it stimulates your heartbeat. It gets you going, right? It gets your heart racing, gets your mind going. And I don't know, for me anyways, I gotta consider cutting it out of my diet. But I'm not there yet. Anyway, that's tough, man. Like, I've been up since 6 in the morning. I've already been out to the gym and back. And that whole time my mind's just going, like, I'm so angry. I'm angry about the situation around me. I'm angry about the situation out there in the world. I'm angry about a lot of things. So I think today my focus should be try to change that anger into gratitude. Look for the things I should be grateful for, because there are lots. There are lots of things I should be grateful for. I should be grateful that I am sober. I should be grateful that I have a roof over my head. I should be grateful that my kids are healthy and my kids are safe. I should be grateful that my kids are taken care of. I should be grateful that I have food in my stomach. I should be grateful that I'm going to the gym. They don't want me going to the gym right now because of this shit out there. Fuck them. Right? It's one healthy thing I have. But I should be grateful that I have that. That I am an adult man and I can make my choices as long as they're healthy choices. I can make bad choices too if I want to. That's my right. But I don't want to. There's a lot to be grateful for, right? So let's just do these readings and yeah. I should be grateful for being calm right now in this moment. September 12th, from A New Day. Peace is when time doesn't matter, when it passes by. So I just closed my door tight. Peace is when time doesn't matter, when it passes by. Maria Schell. Time was my enemy, but now it has become my friend. In the old days, I used to constantly berate myself because I hadn't achieved a certain goal or amassed a certain sum of money by a certain time. When I became sick and tired of making impossible demands on myself, I was able to eliminate much of the time-related anxiety. Eventually, I learned that all I have to do is the best I'm able to do, and trust God to do the rest. I no longer feel imprisoned by time and now see it for what it is, simply a numerical system designed to help me rather than torment me. Or is it a numerical system meant to control me and constrain me? I don't know if I agree with that one. Consequently, I've learned to use time to my advantage. I'm free to organize it, schedule it, or even to disregard it. Because I'm not stress-ridden these days, I'm able to use my time more efficiently. It's easier to concentrate on what I'm doing. I make fewer mistakes. I'm more relaxed. And my friends say it's often a pleasure being around me. I find that pretty amazing. The thing is, time is the same now as it's always been. 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day. Time hasn't changed, but I clearly have. Thought for today, everything in God's time. Right? So I don't need to rush the anger away, but I do need to do the work. I need to be aware of it. I need to be honest about it. I need to be open-minded to changing it and willing to change that, among other things. But if I can remain honest about it, open-minded and willingness, the acronym is WH.O, then God will do the rest in his time, right? In God's time, not in my time. And I should be grateful knowing that, right? Because when I try to control the show, then things often don't work out the way I expect them to or intend for them to. And that causes anxiety and stress in my life. I heard someone the other night talking about that acronym, WH.O, honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. They changed it around to WHO, willingness, honesty, and open-mindedness. They had to start with a willingness. And I don't know if I kind of might adapt that. It makes a little more sense to me. September 12th, from Daily Reflections. I am responsible. For the readiness to take the full consequences of our past acts and to take responsibility for the well-being of others at the same time is the very spirit of Step 9. 12 Steps from 12 Traditions, page 87. In recovery and through the help of Alcoholics Anonymous, I learned that the very thing I fear is my freedom. It comes from my tendency to recoil from taking responsibility for anything. I deny, I ignore, I blame, I avoid. Then one day I look, I admit, I accept. The freedom, the healing, and the recovery. I experience is in the looking, admitting, and accepting. I learn to say, yes, I am responsible. When I can speak those words with honesty and sincerity, I am free. So I guess what I take from that is when I stop blaming, when I stop pointing the finger, and when I stop hating, I guess, then I will be free because I need to take responsible, right? Stop blaming. I'll take responsibility for how I feel. Take responsibility for my anger. Take responsibility for my thoughts that might cause that anger. Take responsibility for the hatred I feel for someone else. They didn't make me hate them. I chose to. That is my responsibility. And maybe with that, I can find some growth. These things aren't always at the forefront of my mind. I read them. I sometimes forget about them. But with practice, by talking about them over and over again, it will become easier. Anyhow, I love you all. Have a blessed day. And take care of yourselves. Thank you.